2 million people are locked up in America. Around 1 in every 117 adult males has spent time behind bars. I read a lot of reports about the conditions in prisons here: abuse, overcrowding, people spending years inside long after their release dates. I want to find out more. For the first time in my life, I'm meeting an ex-con. His name is Juan Torres, and he has just been released from prison in California after serving nearly 30 years for murder.
Hi Juan.
Hello.
How are you?
How are you? Doing well.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
So, what does it feel like to be in front of a jail again?
It's actually surreal, because I just was released June 2020 after 26 years of incarceration. And being out here in front of the jail, it's just a surreal feeling. Well, making friends is nearly impossible in a place like that. So what you meet is associates, and eventually you become like a family. You click up with them. For me, I was another. It's a classification that they give you. There's 5 classifications. There's white, black, Mexican, AMI, which is an American Indian, and other. And I was classified as another.
Juan has a troubled past. As a teenager, he struggled to control his temper. He would become violent and dangerous. One evening, there was a misunderstanding with another man, and it resulted in Juan shooting him in the face to death. It is an act etched in Juan's memory forever, and he finds it difficult to talk about it. He says he wishes he could change the past, and he knows how much damage he has caused to other people's lives.
Talking about the crime that you committed some 26 years ago, how do you feel about it now?
Well, today, I have a great remorse, and regret for what I've done. Obviously, I can't do anything to erase what I did in the past, but I don't allow the past to hold me in to a bondage in which, I'm trapped and I'm still acting in a way where I was acting at that age. I was a young man, confused, irresponsible, just for lack of a better term, I was a piece of shit.
Behind bars, Juan says, the only way to survive was to continue committing crime.
How did you adapt to the life there in the prison?
I adapted by doing the things that made you non-expendable, which was volunteering myself to commit violent acts, using other people, their crimes, as a way to enhance my own reputation and do things that I felt was would propel me into this stage where people respected or feared me.
What kind of acts are we talking about?
So, assaults on individuals, removing them from facilities, telling them, you're not welcome here no more, and in a sense, using violent acts to remove them from being there.
Were you made to do those things?
I was made in the sense that if I didn't do them, then it would be done to me eventually. So it wasn't like someone told me, hey, go do that. It was more like, if you don't do it, you know what's going to happen. And so that's the kind of expectations that are held of people on those higher levels.
So is this kind of part of the system in the prison?
It's part of the system. And what's crazy is some staff can actually leak information on individuals that they feel need to be dealt with or punished or whatever you want to call it. And most of the information that I got during those times at my higher level, they typically always came from staff. And so when you have that kind of document, that's like the green light. That's like, okay, you can do it.
Juan says some prison guards smuggle in drugs and alcohol in exchange for cash or favors.
What else are we talking about? You talked about phones.
They got narcotics, tobacco, marijuana. I've seen alcohol, but I haven't seen it in a sense where it's become such a big thing. Typically, that's more like a celebratory thing. You sell me 10 cell phones or 28 grams of heroin, or an 8 ball of cocaine. I will bring you some alcohol, a flask of some sort.
Legal experts say there is widespread negligence and disregard to corruption by prison staff and authorities further up the chain.
I'm sure that some are run better than others and have less corrupt forces. But I think what happens is that when there's a breakdown of command at a particular prison, that's where it's most likely to happen, is that people start looking the other way. Guards see that it's a little lax, it's a little easier to do it this way. They can make a little extra money on the side. It's not really hurting anybody. And so that's the kind of thing that can spin out of control.
What else have you witnessed as you were there for 26 years? What were some of the mistreatments that you saw from the side of the staff and that was part of the system in the prison?
I've seen where they pull a person out of the cell and give them the closet treatment, and they'll beat you down and
For what reason?
just blatant disrespect, just not complying with whatever orders that they have or whatever is on their agenda, They don't necessarily need a reason.
Not everyone there was feared by everyone else. What did they go through in the prison?
It's unfortunate that you have individuals in there that are exploited. They're extorted. They're forced to pay to not be victimized. Those things do happen. It is unfortunate. I know for the most part, staff won't assist you, but they will report it so that they can move you somewhere else. But in all honesty, when you get there, it's going to happen again.
Abusive conduct by guards is frequently reported in prisons across the country. Some inmates complain of excessive and even lawless use of force. Men in prison can suffer from prisoner-on-prisoner sexual abuse committed by fellow inmates. And groups like Human Rights Watch say sexual abuse is an ongoing serious problem for women who are incarcerated as well.
Abuse isn't often taken seriously. People are physically beaten, are held in solitary confinement, which really is a version of torture. And those kinds of abuses are ubiquitous across the board. We hear it from people all the time.
Have you witnessed anything with your very own eyes that happened before you?
Definitely. 3 days off the bus from county jail. Back then they had individuals that were incarcerated as medical technicians. And I was at the dental office getting an examination because they want to examine, they want to give you a full medical examination. And the individual that was in the chair got sliced from ear to ear. And it was by one of the rival gang members that he apparently murdered. Got a hold of one of the sharp objects right there in the dental office and cut him on the chair. I was paralyzed with fear that day. And I realized, this is it. This is home.
Was there anything that you saw, you witnessed in the prison and you wanted to speak out against it, but you just had to keep your mouth shut?
A lot.
We contacted the correctional facility where Juan was incarcerated for comment on the allegations, but no one responded. Juan's mother says her son going to prison left her riddled with guilt. but her religious faith kept her going.
You knew that he was going out for life. So
Yes, yes,
knowing that you may not be able to see your son again in person.
correct. You know, I even thought to myself, I'll be dead before he gets out, and I will never be able to embrace him. So it was hard for me.
Did you always have faith that one day your son was going to come out?
Definitely, definitely. At the beginning, like I said, you know, I was worried that I wasn't able to see him, you know, that I'd probably be dead before he'll be out. I wasn't really deep into my relationship with the Lord. But as the years passed by, you know, I was getting closer to him, and he was giving me that secure my heart that yes, you'll be okay, he'll be out. And it happened. He's here with me now.
Where does the problem start, do you think, with the mistreatments in the prison and all the problems that he has to go through? Who do you think is the problem?
I don't know, but I think that the system, you know, should be a better system. You know, they really, I mean, maybe it's because they're so crowded, but they should have better treatment to the inmates because they're human beings. They made a mistake, yes, but they're still human. They still have the right to live a life.
There are various opinions on how much attention should be given to allegations in prison. People are there to serve time for sometimes heinous crimes, but some experts argue that effective restorative justice actually reduces the chances of someone reoffending. Juan Carlos managed to find a job 6 months ago.
Is this job something that you want to do for the rest of your life, or are you just adapting to the new life and then you're going to move on to something else?
Well, this is a career, so this is something that, you know, the HVAC is a career where you can establish yourself and, you know, do big things, you know. When rich.
Juan says that adapting to professional life after decades behind bars has been a challenge.
Problems occur if they're going to bring it. Like I said, they're going to come in and say, well, don't you know who I am or where I come from? To me, that doesn't matter. What matters to me, are you here to work or are you here to have problems? If you have problems, then you have no business here working in the industry. But if you're here to come to work and you're going to leave everything outside that door and come inside this door, then there's opportunity for you.
Being sat across from someone who was in prison for 27 years, almost as long as I've been alive, was baffling. But Juan's dedication to put his life back on track is extraordinary, although his relationship with his kids remains troubled.
Did the kids feel any resentment towards you at the beginning or after that, teenage years or even now?
Not so much while I was incarcerated, but now I do feel like, you know, with my son, the relationship is a little strained. I'm trying to reach him, but it's nearly impossible. He's a grown man now, and I wasn't there for his whole, you know, life. So in a sense, it's hard, you know. It's definitely difficult.
Can you put a price tag on the fact that you can come here to the beach and watch the sunset?
This is priceless. You can't put a price tag on that. You know, it's amazing. This is incredible. To watch the sunset on the beach is beautiful. You're gonna come out one day, no matter what your term is. But how do you wanna come out? Do you wanna walk out, or do you wanna be carried out?